Yo guys, it's Slayer. You already know that today, me and the boy RTK, say hello.
No.
Okay, we are back with another Take 5, as today we're going to be talking about our 5 favorite anime characters.
Yo.
Yeah, pretty exciting. Good stuff, good stuff. Uh, yeah, this is our series that we do every so often, where we take 5 of anime things and talk about them. So, I feel like we've got it down pretty pat to I feel like this is like a fun little like podcasty almost style thing that we do at this point, at least on my end. I just throw a nice image up and we talk.
Yeah. It's
So
awesome.
yeah, we like talking about anime. So yeah, we're just gonna talk about our favorite characters, and feel free to let us know your favorite characters in the comments or whatnot, as well as your reactions to ours, whatever. And yeah, I feel like I was gonna say something about maybe go check out RTK's channel, I guess, if you're watching this on my side, or vice versa if you're on the other way. And
All right. Well,
all that,
I'll
yeah.
just go die.
But yeah, I think I covered our bases. Do you want to talk about just like favorite characters as like a whole concept in terms of like what you were looking for, anything that sort of caught your eye as
Revenge.
you were making the
Death. A vengeance.
list? I'm very interested because we did our top 5 like favorite animes like overall, and I don't know about you, but as it so happens, a lot of my favorite characters come from my favorite anime.
Well, one of my favorite characters comes from one of the worst anime CGI in existence. So,
Oh my gosh.
yeah, it's mostly manga why I like that character.
Oh wow, you went manga on this one. Okay.
Yes.
Nice. Mine has a heavy crossover. If you know what my top 5 anime are, you're gonna see a lot of those characters pop up,
Yeah,
or a lot of those
guess
series
him
make an appearance.
right now. Sonic the Hedgehog. Wait, that's Michael.
Yo.
Did I
Was that all your guesses?
Yeah, Sonic the Hedgehog.
He's all 5 slots. How'd you know?
He's got his werewolf form or werehog, whatever the heck it is. He's got his ultimate Sonic form. He's got
He does have a lot of
Shadow,
forms.
which is Black Sonic, basically.
Wait, whoa. Shadow's a different character altogether.
No.
Put some respect on Shadow's name.
All right, you have to start the 5 because I
I
started
did start
the
the
last.
5. Yes, I always try to make RTK start because it's so scary. Giving your opinions first, because
You're only talking
you
to
never
me
know.
right now. You're not talking to anyone else.
Yeah, but I still value what you think. I don't know.
Slyro,
but-
do I look like I think?
I don't know.
That's
Why would I
right.
think? This sounds like a lot of thinking between the two of us that it probably isn't happening.
All right.
Anyway,
start. Go.
Yeah, no, my number 5 is actually I actually kind of struggle with this one because I didn't know which character to put at number 5. But at number 5, making how many times have I mentioned this anime in these lists in a row? This might be the 3rd or 4th time. My number 5 character is Eren Yeager.
Yay! I
Yeah.
called it. I actually had that in my brain.
Yeah, I figured. I wasn't sure because Eren Yeager. I think my thing for him is I think that he is maybe just the most interesting character from just like a character analysis standpoint. Like I love watching people's analysis like of Eren Yeager's character because it's just so interesting and there's a lot of different angles that you can take it. And I can't wait for the anime to be like fully done so I can see even more people like react to when like Eren's story is like fully finished. And I will start sort of talk a little bit about where he's at as a character now in terms of how the anime is, but I'm not going to talk about like the ending of the manga for people that are anime onlys. But Eren Yeager is the character archetype that I did not like at the beginning. I am not a fan of the really loudmouth protagonist that sort of doesn't act before he thinks, and is always yelling about we need to beat the bad guys, and he was very stereotypical loud shonen main character that is generally not my vibe. I don't always hate them, but they're generally not my favorite characters. But I love seeing Eren sort of react to all of the crazy stuff around him as he grows. And I think what's interesting is there's the time skip, and then there's Eren seemingly being like a completely different character, but it's so interesting that you can see a lot of the way that he thinks is is kind of similar. Like you can see bits and pieces of that like throughout even his like early arc, and you just like assume that like everything that Eren does is like good because he's the main character and he's on the good guy side. But like Attack on Titan isn't generally that simple. I'm like the full belief that there aren't really good and bad guys in Attack on Titan. There's just sides that you get to see the perspectives of. So, you know, and Eren doesn't play no games. Like when he was a child, he stabbed a man to death. That's not something that normal main characters do.
What, you didn't do that as a kid? Come on.
I did not. Not that I've.
Well,
not that you could find out about. But yeah, so he's always kind of had like a violent tendency, and he's always wanted to protect the ones that he cares about, regardless of what that does to anybody else in the world. And I also just love, thankfully the anime is far enough along that I can say this now. I love that Eren's character, or his journey goes from I want to kill all the Titans to I want to use all the Titans to kill everyone else, basically. So that is a hilarious turn of events. But yeah, I just really like analyzing like Eren's philosophy and just like character, and just like what he does, because you know he is sort of like thinking about like what he's gonna do step by step, what he wants like his future to be like, and the future of the people he cares about. But like he doesn't always think about what they would want. It's just what he wants, and I don't know. There's a lot of interesting angles to look at his character from. So just in terms of just sheer, like, as much as I just like how interesting he is and how many different angles you can sort of look at his character from. I don't know. I think that's covers the main bases. I didn't make a lot of specific notes, but yeah.
My man, bloodthirsty over here.
Whoa.
Saying he ain't never killed no one. All right.
Not
you know, I agree with that. Eren is definitely a unique character in terms of protagonists. He I don't want to spoil anything, so I'm trying to be careful on what I'm saying. He definitely does some things you wouldn't expect a main character to do. So, I like it. Do you want to try and guess my number 5 before?
Oh gosh, I mean I wouldn't know where to start. You got to narrow it down a little bit if you want me to guess.
This character is in one of my top 5 favorite anime lists. And I will give you a hint, it's not from Mushoku Tensei.
Oh gosh. I don't know, I kind of want, like, there's one I'm wondering if we actually share on both of our lists.
I would hope so. I think you like this character a lot.
That might be what you're about to say, and that's the only one that's coming to mind. I can't even think of what else. Yeah, go ahead and say. I'm going to do the same thing where I'll have it in my head, and, you know, I'll let you know. You did it with me. You did it.
All right, it's Lelouch.
Yeah, okay. Yeah.
All right.
That was the only one that was coming to my head.
I mean, I gotta say, dude, I always have...
Actually, I'll just say this now. He's my number 4, so we can both just sort of tag team this.
Sweet. Okay, perfect. Dude, Lelouch is just so cool as a character. I love the smart, like, plotting 3 steps ahead character. Lelouch, it's more than that. Like, he often gets compared to, like, Light a lot, but I think he's so much of a better character than Light has ever been. Lelouch, his singular goal is just to have a world with, like, where Nunnally is safe, pretty much. And he does pretty much anything, no matter how dirty, how underhanded, to do that. Even to the point where I'm going to spoil, because if you haven't seen Code Geass, it's like, what, 10, 12 years old? Longer than that?
More than that.
I don't know.
It's like 17 years old.
Oh, no, I'm old! You know, he even sacrifices himself at one point for a better world. And it's just... I didn't write as many points as I wanted to, but, like, he's just cool, man. He's just cool. The way he uses people to their utmost efficiency in combat... the weird calculating manipulation he does. Even when he's betrayed, he's not, like, on the downside of being betrayed. He's still, like, like calculated all this. He has a plan to get away, and even when things are falling apart, he still figures a way out to get through stuff. Except for like one point in the anime that I thought was really stupid, and everyone has a problem with. But you know, Lelouch is just cool.
Yeah, I was gonna say, and I think that the main thing that differentiates him from Light, and what I really like about his character, is that he is the sort of like calculating. I mean, they show him like in the first episode, he's like, oh, he's a master at chess, like he's a master at like strategy. He like knows where his pawn should be, and he could use whoever. But instead of being this like heartless monster that's just using everybody around him, he's kind of balancing that with his personal emotion. You know, when I think about like the end of season 1, where it's just like the good decision is to just let Suzaku, the person that's like his enemy, die, and he just can't do that because he personally doesn't want him to. Mm-hmm. And like, so he's balancing his personal feelings with the goal that he's trying to accomplish and take down, you know, the Britannian whatever. So I think that's like a big thing. And also, like, you know, Lelouch has to adapt. It's like the final plan that he comes up with, like, that was not his plan the whole time.
Yeah.
He had a lot of different things, and he, you know, failed in some other ways, whether by his own hand or by other things. And so sort of seeing him deal with that failure and come up with another way to adapt and find another, you know, another plan. And ultimately, like, I think that's also just what makes the end of Code Geass so good. Is like that wasn't like the plan from the start. That's not how it was supposed to be, but that's just sort of the corner that he backed himself into, because of the choices of him and some other people, which made it really interesting, I think.
You know, and that brings up another important thing. I really love the whole idea of the main character turning the entire world against him so he can be seen as the bad guy. And I like that so much, and I'm like, well, that's like, it's just wow. All right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, my mind was blown that with like that whole the whole last couple episodes. The first time I watched it, because Code Geass was one of my earlier animes, and like, I don't know, I get like, it was one of those that was kind of like a twist to me, just because I wasn't like following like everything so closely and analyzing everything. And I was just like, wait, I was like, oh, he's coming out. He's like, he's being bad. He's being like evil. And I was like, this is like a weird like twist. And then like to see that there's a reason for it all. And I was like, oh, that was incredible. Like, experiencing that for the first time is one of the, you know, coolest things I've ever experienced.
I'm very glad I watched it as it was airing on, I think, Adult Swim, or no, it was Adult Swim. So I wasn't spoiled by it. Like that yeah. If I was on the internet now and never seen Code Geass, I would have been spoiled 10 times over.
Yeah.
Like you guys probably are now if you haven't watched Code Geass.
Yeah, it happens.
Alright, well, you got anything else to say? That's pretty much all I have.
No, I think I added on everything that I was going to say.
Alright, so that was your 4. My 4 is Kenshin Himura from Rurouni Kenshin.
Okay.
I love everything about Kenshin. Rurouni Kenshin isn't in my top 5 anime, but it is in my top 10, and I love it so much. The fact that Kenshin is trying to atone for everything he did. I mean, if you watched most of Rurouni Kenshin, right, Sly?
Yeah, I watched all of the important stuff, but I mean, don't ask me to remember a lot of things about it.
So it's like it's like semi-historically accurate when Japan, I think, was in, I don't remember what the era was called, but it's during the reign of the shogunate, which are basically like they were basically rulers, and they used shoguns, samurai, as their force of power. So when Japan was closed off for those like 100 or 200 years that the shogunate was closed off, or they had Japan just not open to any people traveling, and then like Europeans started coming over, and they're like, hey, we got guns, we're so much stronger than you guys, and you guys can't defend yourself if we just try to invade. So like the whole story before the start of Rurouni Kenshin is like, Kenshin's known as Batosai the Manslayer, and he gets that name because he's fighting for, I think it's the Imperialists is what they're called. So he's fighting against the shogunate, who have like trained all these samurai for 100, 200 years and ruled over Japan, providing stability. But Kenshin's fighting, thinking, oh, he doesn't want Japan to have to fight these people with all their guns or whatever, so we have to modernize. So the only way to really do that is to take out all the shoguns, and that's where he becomes Batosai. And then he realized, like, so Kenshin had never killed anyone before he did that, and he just became like a mad killing machine. But the entire time, dude, he is hating himself and hating himself, and it just gets worse and worse. And he makes up, it's like an excuse. He makes up the excuse saying, if it's for peace, I'll do this. I'll have to do it. It needs to be done. Someone has to do it, right?
Mm-hmm.
So after he completes all that and kills as many people as he can, kills the leaders of I can't remember their exact name, but the shoguns, and then he's like, all right, now I'm never gonna kill anyone again. I'm gonna get a reverse blade sword. It's an actual real life sword that they made as a sign of changing times back in I want to say it was like 18 something, 17 something. And he just wanders around as a vagabond, pretty much. And then his whole thing is just atoning for what he's done, and then these constant ghosts coming from his past to try and bring him back to being a killer. And he knows that if he ever kills again, he'll never be able to come back from it, so he tries his hardest not to do it, but it gets increasingly harder as more and more people try and come and hurt him and the people that he cares about. And it's just... It's my favorite story of atonement in Kenshin, and I like it a lot. He's like, not only is he super kind and peaceful when he needs to be, he's got that super dark side to him when he needs it. Like, he's just really cool, dude.
Yeah,
and
I respect it.
He's really cool.
It completely slipped my mind. I forgot how much you like Rurouni Kenshin.
Yeah,
I remember that you did, but I just like I haven't thought about that
series
in a while.
Yeah, I know. I don't bring it up enough because we had already watched it all pretty much.
Yeah.
But it is getting a new like kind of remake type thing coming out. Mm-hmm. So it just brought up my memories of it, and I'm like, I wanna read it again. And I did over the last week.
Oh wow, nice.
Yeah, but anyone in the comment section, I don't care what the author did. That's not a part of the anime. It doesn't matter. Don't bring it up. All right? Thank you.
I mean, I already didn't. My stance is I didn't really like Rurouni Kenshin that much anyway. But I haven't gone back and watched it. I've heard there's like certain things that's just like it's a little weird. If somebody feels that way, that it detracts from their viewing experience, I'm not gonna take that away from them. But
I get it. I'm not gonna
say like you can't like enjoy it though.
Yeah, exactly. It's
like I can see where people would be coming from, where they're like, oh, it does make them uncomfortable. So.
All right.
Well, I'll take the middle ground there.
All right. So does that mean you started you started 5. So technically, I started 4, but you same to me, so you start 3 now.
Yeah. I was like, I'd be doing my 3. Yeah, that was your 4, right?
Yes.
Okay. I was like, you didn't like skip one. We didn't go out of order, did we?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. All right. Line number 3. I know you don't care that much about this series, but it is my favorite character from Fruits Basket. Yeah, did you watch any of it? I forget if you were like forced to watch it or if you just didn't.
I've watched quite a bit of it, but Chucha hasn't watched season 3 yet.
Oh gosh, all right, well.
But she watched all the original of Fruits Basket and read the original.
Yeah, I think the original Fruits Basket stopped at a certain point though because the manga wasn't finished.
Yeah, something like that, and they did their own thing.
Yeah, I don't entirely know. I never saw the original. I've only seen the new one. And it's kind of impossible to talk about this character without talking about all 3 seasons. Because I have said, and I stand by this, with each season of Fruits Basket, my favorite character changed. At the end of season 1, I had one favorite character. Season 2 was a different one, and by the end of season 3, my favorite character from Fruits Basket is Momiji Soma.
Is that the little boy?
He is the little boy. Yeah,
that's Chucha's favorite character too.
Yeah, I was surprised because like, you know, he shows up and he's just kind of like this weird but like harmless like side, almost like a comic relief like side character. Like he's always just kind of happy and like really like, you know, he seems like way younger than he is, but he gives off this like youthful energy. But a part of man, so it for me it comes back, it comes to like his sort of backstory and his sort of like upbringing. So just to talk about everything, his story is basically that his like mother like rejected him at like a really young age.
I know his story. I know it. Yeah,
but I'm still explaining it for
oh
like,
yeah, chat.
Well.
That's right.
There are people that may watch this, but yeah. So, but he was at an old enough age where like he realized, like he was able to understand that like his mother was rejecting him, and he was also sort of old enough to kind of get why, or at least he grew up under like eventually understanding why, even though he still sort of balances with like, but that still sucks to have, you know, somebody close to you that like rejects you. But then like her memories get like erased, and so like she's still around, so like he still needs to see the face of this person, his mother, but he can't treat her like his mother because it, you know, that would like ruin the effects or whatever. So essentially, my sort of take on it is that I kind of feel like he was sort of robbed of his childhood, and I think that is part of why he like holds on to it as much as he does for as long as he can, while he, you know, before he hits his growth spurt in the final season, sort of hits a growth spurt where he doesn't look as young anymore. But I think that's part of his like really childlike personality, is because he didn't really get that, or he needs to express that in some way because he wasn't able to do that like at home. I think he had to grow up a lot faster than most like, you know, normal kids, and I think you could say that about a lot of the Somas. But I just think that's really interesting with you know, his sort of backstory. But yeah, so I like his personality. This is one I actually had notes, so I'm going to actually make sure that I follow these.
I want to hear. I'm interested.
So yeah, there's that. In season 2, Momiji is the one. He stands up. He tries to protect Toru in season 2. Akito, it's somewhere like around like the beach scene, and Akito is like trying to, you know, Akito's like mad, wants to like find Toru, and then Momiji like steps in the way. Like, what are you gonna do to her? Like, no, I feel like hits him. But like he was trying to protect Toru. He's like the only one that would stand up because nobody would stand up to Akito out of, you know, fear and
isn't that the guy with the gun?
A gun?
I thought they feared him because he had a gun or something like that.
I don't think Akito has a gun.
I don't remember.
No, but because they have like an attachment, like you know, like the whole curse, the whole Zodiac thing. There's like a sort of attachment to Akito. Yeah. But and there's also like a season 3 thing is at the end, he's actually one of the first characters to break from that curse because of all that, which is also really, really cool. And then there's also a scene as he sort of like I said, he hits like a growth spurt where he's starting to like look older, and there's also this sort of like implication that he also like has feelings for, you know, for Toru and stuff like that, which like, I mean, half the Somas do, but you know, he had this like this moment of like realization that this is just like another thing to a tragedy, where it's like he knows that Toru does not have those feelings back for him, but that's just something that he has to like deal with. And when he was like sort of childlike, he could sort of still stay close to her in that way, but like as he gets older and he looks like a, you know, an actual like high school boy, it's like you can't really do the same sort of things that he was doing, like being all playful and childlike. It doesn't really work once you start like looking older. So he was like losing that, and he knows that that's like another thing that he would want, and just like but he's also mature enough to realize that like that's never going to happen, and so he like can't pursue that. But it's just like another part of his like tragedy that he just like can't have. So I just, you know, it for me, it's so sad to just see like all of the bad things that he has to deal with. But I love just sort of at the end of the day, how he still is optimistic about all of it. And I don't know, I like he still has like a genuine smile on his face. I think like I don't think it's all just like hiding like pain. I do think that there's like genuine like optimism about like what he can do like in the future. And I just really like all that stuff about him. So
all right,
yeah.
Okay. Would you like to take a guess on what my other character is?
Oh gosh. Oh, I don't even remember. Well, I mean, it's weird because I'm pretty sure I know a little bit of what your manga one might be, but like, even though I've never read it or seen it. What else would you have put? I don't know. Is there a character like ReZero that you would put in here? No. Yes. What else is on your what's on your top 5? I don't know.
Oh well, it wasn't on the top 5. It's on it's on your world building list specifically. So it's from one of yours that I didn't have on my world building.
Oh my gosh! Wait. Okay. Is it that boy?
that
boy Roy?
That boy Roy! It sure is.
I mean that boy Roy is a different one, but I know you're not talking about Roy.
Yeah, Roy Mustang, one of the cockiest, laid-back, cold personality assholes out there. Oh, I cursed. Whoops. You know, there's just something about Roy that he's just so likable and relatable. He starts off the story as like this really cool, cocky guy who has these groups of friends. If you're just watching Brotherhood, if you've only watched Brotherhood, it just kind of starts him out where he's just kind of put in charge of Ed, but he gets a little bit more build up if you've watched the original because it follows more of the manga. But like he just has the coolest scenes that make you love him and also feel super uncomfortable at the same time. Like, I will never forget when he says, I seared my own wound. I almost passed out from the pain of it. But then he just decimates Lust, dude. It is one of the coolest moments in that show. And then he's just he has this whole tragic backstory where he's trying to go through the rank of the military, and he's stuck in the Ishvalan War, and he's got to do some pretty bad stuff to do because it's his orders, and you can't disobey orders as a soldier, you know. But his whole goal is to be able to change the country that he's in. I think what is it they call it in that anime, Führer or something like that. He basically wants to become Führer and become in charge of everything. And you know, he has I believe his two closest friends are Hawkeye and Mace Hughes, and we all know what happens to Hughes, and that's one of the catalysts for him to really like push himself towards this goal and decide like, you know, what needs to be done, what's right. But you know, it shows that he cares so deeply about his friends, because he definitely cares about Hawkeye and Hughes a lot. He cares about Havoc, if you even remember his name.
Yeah.
But like, after Hughes' death, he's set up like he's making a lot of his decisions for justice, but you really see as Roy gets further and further into who killed Hughes that he's really just deciding these things based on his emotion, and most of that emotion is anger and rage, and he just feels like when he finally confronts Envy, and Envy's just sitting there mocking him about how he killed Hughes, and it's just like, you're expecting this to be one of the biggest moments that you're like excited for, you know? He's finally gonna avenge Hughes' death, and then Envy just kind of goes out in the most pitiful way imaginable. Like, Roy is burning the crap out of him, and then it's just like Envy just goes down in a really not good way, and it makes Roy look bad, you know? When you see him kill Lust, you're like, wow, this is the hero, man. He's really sick. But then you see him, you know, trying to kill Envy, and it's just like, whoa, he might be a little too far gone. Like, he's really digging down deep in his hatred for Envy here. But another thing I love about Roy is just like he's just one of the more interesting characters in the show. I think he's just really cool. Like I've said before, I really want to get his salamander. What is it called in that transmutation circle? Tattooed on my hand. I really want that, dude. But
yeah, it looks pretty sick.
He's just awesome. And then you know, towards the end when he's still trying to do everything, and he loses his eyesight just so Hawkeye doesn't die. I love the relationship between him and Hawkeye. It's just this like Roy finally realizes that like Hawkeye has literally always kind of been there for him since like day one. Like it shows, and that's shown when Hawkeye's like telling him in that final battle, all right, aim this way, aim that way. You know, it's really sick. He's just a really relatable character, I think.
Yeah. No, he's a great character.
Man, I feel like I'm not doing them justice when I talk about stuff.
I know, right? Like you feel like you want to talk about you need to do like a whole 30-minute video essay on these characters, but we don't have the. I don't have to put in the effort to do that. I don't have the ability to do that.
I'm not coherent enough in my thoughts to be able to do that.
Yeah, but no, I definitely get that. I feel the same way. I'm just like, oh man, I feel like there should be like so many things to talk about, and there probably is. I know there is because I know that there's videos about Roy Mustang. I'm sure, but yeah.
Okay, all right. That's all I have to say. I just love Roy Mustang. He's so cool.
Yeah, he's really great. Fantastic.
All right, I wanna hear yours. Let's go. I'm ready, Sly. I'm hungry.
Are you sure?
Let's see.
I feel like you're gonna be a little disappointed, but not surprised. And I think people that don't know me very well are going to think this is the most out of left field
Spyro,
I've come up with.
I've accepted what you are. Okay.
Yeah, that's why I said I was like, I don't think this is gonna surprise you because you know me. People don't know me. This is gonna be like. I don't know that I've ever heard anybody say that this is like one of their favorite characters. So,
let me hear it.
My second favorite character is Nagisa Shiota, the protagonist of Assassination Classroom.
Yeah, that's not surprising at all.
I know, but it's surprising to people that don't know me because I've never really heard the hype and praise for Nagisa, and I want to try and do him some justice. This is also where I can sort of start to show you that sort of my jam for characters is. Man, do I love characters that are, like, oppressed or brought up in some sort of, like, tragic way that they need to, like, overcome. That sort of story always gets me. And so that's the sort of commonality factor between my top three. But, yeah, so there's that. But to start, I just want to talk about, like, Nagisa's, like, personality and just sort of role in the show. Because, as I've said, I don't really like the sort of loud, over-the-top, protagonist. But on the flip side, there are shows that are like, oh, well, if the protagonist is going to be loud, they're going to be super shy and antisocial. And it's like sometimes it's done accurately, but sometimes it's still really hard to watch. And Nagisa, for me, sort of hits like a nice middle ground. And Nagisa is also just like, for me, I think a little bit relatable in the sense that it's like, Nagisa's not always like talking. He's not like antisocial, but he's not like loud. He's just like there. And I don't know, I feel that sometimes. He's more of like an observer. He's sort of like around. He gets along with everybody. Like nobody dislikes him. But like, he isn't like standing out. And I think a lot of that is like sort of on purpose. Nagisa grew up in a toxic home environment where his mother like tried to just raise him as like the daughter that she wanted, or basically to try and make him the have like the childhood that she wanted but couldn't have. And that's not something that he wanted to do, but, he didn't want to make his mom mad because she would go absolutely crazy. So he sort of learned to find a way to just sort of like suck it up and deal with it and, hide how he like truly feels because that's just like the easier way to live life, which is, like I could definitely relate to that as well, where, you just put on a face of like, well, it's easier if I just do it this way. So I'm just going to suck it up and it'll be fine. And I think that is sort of mirrored in his like sort of ability to hide his like bloodlust as well. I think like Nagisa is sort of good at sort of hiding like what he truly like wants, but it sort of gets to a point where he doesn't really know what he wants. And there's like a lot of scenes like in the show where he sort of gets pushed to do something. Like, I mean, it's not like the best scene, but like the part where like his classmates like make him like cross dress and like put on like a dress or whatever. It's like that's not his choice. He didn't want to do that. But he's not like, he doesn't have enough like conviction to like really stand up and say like, no, I'm not doing that. He's like, all right, I'll suck it up and I'll find like a way to do it. Which I think for that scene, yeah, it sort of makes sense. You know, it was effective, but it probably wasn't necessary. And it's just one of the many examples of that. So I like his sort of story of, you know, being this like character that's sort of pushed around. Actually, I'll stay like I was gonna say, what's the word, chronologically, like earlier in the show. Because I did want to talk about like the fact that he has like some I think there's some people that were like almost kind of bullying him, but he like sort of stands up to them. But I also just want to talk about his like really cool friendship with like Karma, which is also completely for me out of left field, because most of the time Karma would be like, you know, the rival character that like is like, oh, I don't like you, I'm gonna be better than you, whatever, you know. And the fact that Karma is sort of like a, you know, a tough guy-ish archetype that would generally be seen as like mean, is actually just like friends with him is pretty cool. I like that friendship, and I like how that progresses throughout like the entire show. I like his you know, sort of assassination like things, his face off against Takaoka, the teacher that, you know,
the jerk man
abuses everything. Yeah. So like that initial like standoff where you're like, oh, I just need to, or when Crossbow like picks him to be the one to be like, all right, if you can sneak up behind me or try to kill me or take the knife, or however it worked, and he was able to do that. Like whenever he's able to do like that stake thing and all that sort of stuff, I think it's really cool. I just like any time that he sort of shows off his abilities to do that.
You know,
yeah,
he really can be scary. Can
he can be really scary. It's really cool. But yeah, I mean, obviously the thing that sort of like does it for me is him actually overcoming the scene like where he stands up to his mom, being like, you know, I'm not going to be what you want me to be, you know, because he's like gained the confidence. He's like, there's other options I have. I don't need to like take this from you. But he still does it in a way like, I'm not like leaving you. You know, there's still like a chance for his mom to just start treating him like an actual person, like his own person. And to her credit, she does. You know, he doesn't just like up and leave. He still tries to find like a middle ground where he's like, I'm gonna be my own person. Stands up to her, and is just like a lot more assertive to the point that like she understands. The other sort of plot point that I really like about Nagisa is, you know, he does have this talent for assassination, but he doesn't. I mean, for most of the show, he doesn't really know what he wants to do. And then towards the end, when everybody else is, you know, so sure about what they're going to do and what they're going to apply to high school for, whatever, Nagisa still like has no idea like what he actually wants. And his journey of like deciding that he's going to be a teacher because of how Koro Sensei basically like inspired him to want to like do that for other people is just really, really cool. I like the journey where like his whole time he's not like assertive enough to know what he wants, and then when he finally like finds something he wants, he's like, I'm going to do this. And then like at the very end when it, you know, does like the time skip into the future and it's like he got to do like what he said he was going to do. I just love that so much. So I think I covered all the main points, and hopefully I got my point across that I just really, really like Nagisa. Actually, no, towards the end as well, there's that disagreement as to whether they should save Koro Sensei or kill him or whatever. And I really liked that whole disagreement thing. And it was kind of interesting to see the like Nagisa try to take the path of like, oh, we're gonna save him, even though like, you know, that wasn't gonna work. And then when he's like the one that has to like ultimately do the deed, is like, oh my gosh, it's I cry every time. All right, I think I've covered like every major point. I just love it.
I know, I'm aware. Slyro's love of Assassination Classroom goes beyond
so good
all my comprehension.
It's so good.
It's not bad. I don't like it as much as you do, though.
Yeah.
All right. So this is the one from the manga specifically,
Okay.
since the CGI for this anime that they did in 2016 was garbage. It's Guts from Berserk.
Yeah.
I love Guts. At first, when you meet him, he is just like this. He's your typical dark, brooding, almost psychopathic type of dude, and it shows him. The start of the manga shows him as an adult. You know, he's got a crossbow for an arm because like he doesn't have half of his hand. He doesn't have his hand and half of his forearm. He's got this really massive sword. He's wearing all black, the original Black Swordsman. Kirito, eat your heart out. He is just the epitome of like dark anti-hero when you see him. And Berserk as a manga was one of Japan's, I think, first dark fantasy things of literature in general, if I'm not mistaken. Because Japan never really did anything like that before. They had your typical shonen type of stuff, but dark fantasy, it was like a more of a Western thing, you know.
Okay.
But so to lead up to why Guts is the way that he is, we literally follow him from the beginning, the day that he's born, and the day that he's born is the most sad and depressing. His mother is literally if you guys, this is a very dark and gory manga, so if anyone has any like problems with like S'ing people's selves and other stuff, I warn you now, don't listen to me, okay? Guts is found in a puddle of his mother's blood.
Oh my gosh.
His mother is hanging from a tree, and he was born after her death. So, a woman from this wandering group, it's just a wandering band of mercenaries, decides she's just gonna raise him. And she's pretty much out of her mind. She's crazy, but she loves taking care of Guts and making sure he's okay. And then her partner is pretty much the leader of these bandits or mercenaries, whatever they were. The problem is that she dies relatively soon into Guts' life, maybe when he's like 3 or 4. And that just leaves him with his father figure. And his father figure is a piece of trash. A garbage person. I'm not going to get into any explicit detail, but after he's injured in battle, he can't work as a mercenary anymore. So to make money, he sells Guts to a friend for a night, is all I'm going to say.
Wow.
Yes. And Guts becomes enraged as I want to say a 5 or 6 year old, and is forced to go out in combat as a mercenary. He finds that friend and does what should be done. And then he finds out directly from his father figure that he is the reason that happened. And he ends up not accident. I think it's semi on purpose, but also on accident at the same time, killing his father figure. And then he lives his life for the sword, growing up, going through this war-torn country, constantly fighting for money, living by the sword. And as he grows, the only thing that has been there to protect him is his sword. So as he grows, so does his sword. So after we first meet Guts, the first time you see him is as a teenager. This is during a arc in the manga called The Golden Age. And Guts has been spending most of his young life to teenagehood as a mercenary, working for money, killing people. And it shows. He's brutal. He's dark. He doesn't hesitate no matter how big or how many enemies there are, he fights for himself by his sword. So eventually, Guts leads into meeting his main antagonist, I would say, in a character named Griffith. And Griffith decides that he wants Guts in his mercenary group, so he challenges him to a duel. And obviously, the first time ever Guts loses in a fight is to Griffith. So basically, Griffith owns him at this point, and Griffith sees him as one of his pawns. Griffith is a very respected leader of the Band of the Hawk, and everyone looks up to him. He's strong, he's courageous, he's a very good tactician. He's everything that makes someone admirable. So, as Guts develops these bonds with the Band of the Hawk and becomes friends with his eventual main love interest, Casca, and thinks he's becoming closer with Griffith, and he eventually overhears Griffith talking to it's like a princess of another land or something, after they had just finished the big decisive battle of the 100-Year War that they were taking part in, and the Band of the Hawk is one of the main reasons why this side won the 100-Year War. So Griffith tells this princess, a man that does not have his own goals and his own dreams cannot be a friend of his. And then that's when Guts is pushed, like, this guy doesn't see me as a friend. Like, he doesn't see me as a friend. I have no goals in life. I don't have anything. I'm just fighting to fight. I don't have anything to fight for or fight for someone. And he decides to leave. And after a while, this causes Griffith to go to like a very big downward spiral that just leads into some very not good stuff for him. So as Guts is he's left, he's trying to make a name for himself as a mercenary for hire on his own. Griffith gets like the ever-living crap tortured out of him, like constant torture every single day for what he did and everything. So Guts and the Band of the Hawk, they eventually reunite on the battlefield, and Casca, I can't remember. There's a scene where Guts and Casca get separated from everyone else, and they're wandering through the night, trying to get away from these other band of mercenaries, and Guts finally finds something to fight for. So this leads into one of the best fights in existence, and one of Guts's, like, I might be getting the order of these fights in the manga wrong, because it's been a while since I've read Berserk, but I think it's called the 100-Man fight. Guts by himself fights 100 dudes so Casca can get away. So he just wails and wails and wails, and like even when he's exhausted after like the 50th or so guy, like he literally can't stand up anymore, he thinks about what would happen if he lets these guys go after Casca, and he finally finds something that's worth fighting for, what's worth it for him, and so instead of living for himself and fighting for himself, he discovers that fighting for others is what makes him stronger. And that's really just like the epitome of Guts' character. He's like really, he just needs a purpose, I believe. He didn't have a purpose. He was just living to live. It wasn't something worth it. And once he finds these people that he's ready to sacrifice his life for, it's all taken away from him by Griffith. in the most brutal and disturbing way possible.
Hmm.
And that's all I'm gonna say. Guts is great.
Yeah, that sounds great, actually. Berserk sounds good.
Berserk is good. Please read it.
Yeah, I mean, dude, if only I could read manga.
The art is so good, Slyro. It's
I think I've seen some pictures here and there.
So dang good. And that's only the Golden Age arc. That's everything that happens as the precursor to what Guts' actual story is.
Oh my gosh. Wow. That's crazy. I mean, it sounds like it's really like well thought out and
it's
like well planned and all that.
It's sad that I don't think it will officially get like finished ever. I think they gave it like kind of an end, but I don't think that's exactly what the author wanted out of it. I don't know.
Yeah, it's unfortunate.
But you know, it's a great read nonetheless, and people should read it. For like, yeah, there's some disturbing stuff. It's a dark fantasy. If you're not good with that stuff, then don't do it. But like, it's such a great story.
Yeah, I think it would be my jam.
All right. Well, that's my number 2.
All right.
Let's see. Do I start number 1 too?
I mean, if we keep
yeah,
going back
and
forth, I think I would do one.
Oh, would you do? I thought you started 2.
I did start 2. Oh, are we like snaking it? I don't think we've been snaking it this whole time. I think we've just been going
It's because we synced, man. We screwed it.
I forgot that we were supposed to snake it. I thought we were just going back and forth.
Well, I mean, you go ahead and do it then.
Yeah. All right, yeah. We'll try to remember to snake it next time. Yeah, my favorite character just so happens to come from my favorite anime. Surprise, surprise. Yeah, my favorite anime character of all time is Killua.
Yeah. Good stuff.
Yeah, dude, I love Killua. I mean, he's got a great design. He's got cool electric powers, cool yo-yos, and yet again, we have a character that was raised in an environment that they are, their whole life is, his whole life is planned out for him. He's gonna grow up and be an assassin, and at least be a part of the family, if not like lead the family. But he's able to get some time away, and sort of figures that like maybe that's not exactly like what he wants to do. But I actually really like. It was kind of funny when you said about like Guts like not looking for a purpose. I feel like a lot of Killua's journey is like trying to figure out what his purpose is. Because I know that there's one specific scene where Gon and Killua are talking. And it's just like, I think Killua either asked him or Gon's just saying, it's just like, oh, I'm gonna go here and do this, and I'm gonna find my dad or whatever. And it's like, Killua, like, what are you gonna do? What do you want to do? And he's like, I don't really know. I don't have a plan. I guess I'm just gonna stick by your side until I figure it out. And I don't know. I like when everybody else has such like clear defined goals. Killua is actually like the one that sort of is different because like he doesn't really have that. He hasn't really had the ability to sort of make his own goals. So there's that. He's such like a kind-hearted person, but he's also like this assassin that is being trained to kill, and he's very good at it. But yeah, so there's that aspect of it that I really like, and I mean obviously him sort of breaking out of the control, but both like the type of control that like his family sort of has on him, and then like the literal control that like his brother like has on him. Like both of those, when he like overcomes those, is just like fantastic. I love that. So that whole storyline is really good. And then the other like a main storyline to for Killua is his friendship with Gon, because he's never really had a friend, like not one that he's ever able to like be like proper friends with. And like Gon is just like the most like happy-go-lucky, like takes things at face value, like whatever. And so Killua doesn't even need to like try to do anything. Killua is just like there, and Gon's just like, yeah, you're cool, I like you, and like it's literally that simple. But like it's just kind of interesting to see like Killua doesn't always like understand that like like what do you mean I can just like be here and like you know you like me as a friend or whatever. It's like because as like an assassin, like he's generally like a tool, like you know he needs to be like useful in some way to either like his family or like whatever his job, whatever he's doing. And like with Gon and just like with friends in general, he doesn't like need to do anything special to like earn that. He can just like you know that's not like what friendship is about, and so he sort of learns that, which I like. It's represented really well when it's like later and like his friendship with Icalgo, the octopus bro. Yeah, like that's such like a good growth of Killua's character of like learning that like you know you could just be friends with somebody and like. I think there was like certain man, I don't remember the specifics. I feel like there was a certain scene where like I think Icalgo like didn't do something right or like messed up or whatever. I know there was a thing where oh gosh, I had it and I completely slipped. Where but essentially it was just like one of those that like he was able to make a friend because of like the lessons that he learned of like being friends with Gon and just like how a friendship like can work like that. So even if Icalgo isn't like you know doing everything like perfectly or being like the best, you know whatever, like he can still like be like a friend with him. I don't know. I just really like that. And let's see, was there any other notes that I had that was outside of that? Because I didn't even look when I was talking about that. But yeah, no, yeah, oh yeah, and also just like his sort of like willingness to sort of sacrifice himself to an extent for you know for his friends as he you know as he does learn to be friends with Gon and all that sort of stuff. But like I know like in the dodgeball match, like he like legitimately like sacrifices his hands essentially to sort of like help mostly Gon in that sense. I think there's some other times where he sort of puts himself in, you know, in harm's way. He doesn't always think about his own safety, because I feel like sometimes he still sort of sees himself as like a tool, not always like a person. But like, so it's really nice to sort of see that he does that because you know he does just have like a heart of gold, and I love like the you know towards the end of like the anime and like his relationship with Alka, his sister, like. I loved like you know he found his purpose to protect you know to protect her like someone who can't like protect themselves, and I thought that was like really good and you know sort of the you know him sort of like it's not exactly like a stand up to his family but there is you know sort of that inner family like conflict and you know at the end you know he finds like a goal essentially which you know is to just protect or you know help his family or the ones that he loves and you know I just think that's really good and I feel like a lot of the things that he chooses and is able to do at the end of the series is not something that the things that he would be able to do at the start. So I just like his character growth and I like him as a character. I think he's really great.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
Fantastic. Man, I love Hunter x Hunter.
He's got sick yo-yos. He skateboards.
I love the yo-yos.
The
skateboard?
He's got his Godspeed.
Yeah. His abilities are awesome. Him and his fight, you know, fantastic. It's just so good. I like, dude. I was like speechless when I mean, it's got to be what episode like 6 when he like rips a dude's heart out. Like it's so dude, early.
You don't even
it's so early.
The guy doesn't even realize his heart's gone. He's like, hey, like, you missing something?
Yeah, like and. I know, like, you know, this thing is like, oh, Hunter x Hunter is, like, darker than, like, other shonens, and, like, that's somewhat true, somewhat not true, but, like, it's definitely...
pretty lighthearted most of the time.
Yeah, but it does sort of reach, like, that sort of stuff, like, a lot quicker than I think a lot of other, like, shonen shows do. I think that's the main difference, is I do think Hunter x Hunter gets there quicker, because, like, I don't know any other series where, like, you know, a character's ripping the heart out. One of the good guys is, like, ripping the heart out of their opponent, you know, very early on in the show. So yeah, like very interesting. And then yeah, I think he was showing off some of his assassin techniques like also like really early on. Yeah, so good.
All right, you ready? Do you think you know who it is?
I don't actually. Should I?
Yeah, you should.
Oh gosh. Oh no, I don't like this pressure.
You should.
Hmm.
On this game of how well does Cyro know RTK?
I'm gonna feel so stupid when you say it.
You should know. I talk about him all the time.
Talk about him all the
And how
time.
he's one of my favorite characters from one of the best shonen anime in existence.
Oh. Okay. Okay. I have one of two characters in mind.
One of two? That's a 50-50 chance. Alright,
Oh
well,
gosh. Go ahead. Let's see if I'm even right.
It's just Sasuke, dude.
Yeah. I was like, once you said Shonen, I was like, all right. I narrowed it down to Naruto, and I was like, I forgot if you fell on the Sasuke or the Itachi side.
Nah, dude, Sasuke. Itachi's great too, but Sasuke.
Itachi was probably like my number 6. He was very close to making my list.
Sasuke's just so awesome, man. He starts out as this just like really edgy edgelord at the beginning. I'm gonna kill my brother. That's what I'm gonna do. That's my only goal.
He talks just like that.
Just like Sasuke. But he becomes so much more than that. He really just he tries out the way. He wants revenge. All my characters except for like Kenshin want revenge. I guess Lelouch to an extent wants revenge. Yeah.
That's part of it for sure.
Yeah. But like Sasuke is just built on it. Sasuke's only real goal is to finally take out his brother, and when he kinda does that, Itachi dies to his own illness before Sasuke kills him. But like after that happens, he finds out that Itachi was not at all what I thought he was. He was not bad. He was basically forced into killing his entire clan, and the whole dynamic that he had with Itachi had been suddenly flipped on its head, all because Obito told him the truth. And then, dude, people say Sasuke is like flip-floppy, but if your whole world was turned upside down multiple times in such a short period of time, wouldn't you change your opinions as well? Wouldn't you?
Yeah, it's almost like when you get new information, you take that and maybe change the way that you think depending on what you know.
Exactly. It's like
as you get more information, things are different. Yeah.
People don't pay attention.
And it's not even like he's always like right either. It's not like, oh, he's like completely on point about everything that he's thinking, but like everything that he thinks and all of his stances makes sense with his character.
Exactly. Sure. With coming to take down Itachi, to literally betraying the Leaf Village to like get power to reach that goal, and then eventually like deciding he's just gonna take out the Hidden Leaf because they made Itachi do this, and that's not cool. And then he gets to the stage where like he goes and kills Danzo, and the way he does it is just like he still has people behind him, no matter what he's been doing. Like he has Team Taka, I think is what they were called at the time. And they might have been Team Heavy.
Even though like wasn't he like 100% willing to let the girl die? I forget her name.
Yeah, he shot right through her
like
to kill Danzo. And that was the moment Sasuke was like, oh well, he's going down, man. He's going down this dark path now. And Sasuke is just, I don't know, man. He's always just felt, all my characters just feel relatable. Like I could totally see myself making these decisions if I was presented the same situation, you know? Mm-hmm. Like it's just crazy that that he goes from just trying to avenge his clan to wanting to be the big bad, so the whole world kind of has to fight him. Towards the end, and then his whole thing is severing bonds is what allows him to be powerful. And in the fight at the very end with Naruto, it has that scene where it's Sasuke by himself, then Naruto, and then Sasuke by himself, and then Naruto and friends, and then Sasuke by himself, and then Naruto with the whole village, and then Sasuke by himself, and then Naruto with the whole world, Sasuke by himself again, and then Naruto with Sasuke. And that just completely changes Sasuke's opinion. Like, dude, I was wrong the whole time. You don't have to be alone to to keep. Oh, it's so hard to form my words.
No, I get it.
Just the final moment when he says I've lost is just so good for me. It's just one of the best ways Naruto could have like ended.
Yeah, no, it's fantastic.
Where's Chaos? I need him to explain this for me right now.
He would talk for over an hour about something.
Sure.
He would double the length of this video single-handedly. Because he actually remembers every little detail.
For sure.
Yeah. I was gonna say something completely random, but like about Sasuke. I remember being so like impressed / like surprised, like when his whole deal with like with Orochimaru, and then like when he goes to like kill him basically or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Or what? Yeah, because like he was like, oh, as Orochimaru like tries to take my body, I'll just like kill him or something. And I was like, I didn't like consider that was a possibility. I was like, oh, that's so smart. And it was so, but like it was also just like so cool. I don't know. I remember loving like that whole like scene.
Yeah, where he absorbs Orochimaru's body into him. And he's just like, dude, why didn't all these other people think of that? Forehead.
Yeah. And I was like, oh, that's so smart. I was like, but it was so cool. Yeah. So like Sasuke has a lot of just like cool moments. There's also another one with like cool lightning powers. I mean, he has more than that.
Dude, the lightning powers are always sick.
I love lightning.
If I was a superhero, I would have electric-based powers. It'd be cool. More like an Infamous, I think, would be.
Oh yeah.
Would be a lot.
Yeah, I've always thought electricity is so cool.
Yeah.
In media.
All right, I don't have anything else to say.
All right, well, that was our list of our favorite characters.
Oh my goodness, an hour and 10 minutes.
Yeah, we're like I said, we've got this down. We know how to talk. We know how to make these things a little bit long, but it's all good. Hopefully, y'all have stayed stuck around and watched the whole thing, or basically however you did it. Make sure to let us know your reactions on what we've said. Let us know some of your favorite characters, and also leave suggestions for future Take 5 lists, because we are all ears and we need them suggestions. So I think that is everything. If you have enjoyed, like the video, go ahead and check out RTK or check out myself, Slaro, depending on which side you're watching this on. And we will see you for whenever the next Take 5 happens. Till then, peace out.